So Joe Burrow did it again. I mean, unreal. This guy has been doing this all season long. And let's just jump into it. No point in wasting time. Let's talk about what happened. We'll start off with this play. It's going to be kind of an interesting concept actually that Clemson is in. It's man coverage, but if you look at two safeties who are deep, they're not going to stay that far deep. It's almost like a buzz concept essentially, although not totally that either. They basically the safeties are kind of playing deep, but more so trying to take away just like the 15 yards further down the field. And so for Joe Burrow, he has a receiver running that route right there. If this was just typical cover two man, that route wouldn't be open. But given this type of concept, I mean, it has a chance. Because after the ball is snapped, you notice that he's doing a pretty good job of winning his own one-on-one matchup. It definitely is a shot that Burrow likes to take in most situations. And especially since the safety he's so far over that this basically is now just a straight up one-on-one matchup. Burrow trusts his receivers, and so he is going to take this chance. And for a good reason. I mean, for one thing, the defensive back just completely misplayed that ball, but also the receiver was able to make the grab. And really, that's how LSU was able to win this football game. Every time Clemson did not put too much of an effort on trying to take away something deep, then LSU was able to take advantage, and that's what they did there. And it kind of is seemingly just a theme throughout LSU's entire season was that they were able to make those deep shots work, and, they were able to do it on several different plays. Like this one's going to be another one. It's going to be a cover one blitz right now. And so basically one safety who's deep. And since there's, again, a receiver running a go route on the sideline with just the one safety who's deep, this is a pretty good situation for LSU. It's going to be a one-on-one matchup. And Burrow, again, he trusts his receivers in one-on-one matchups. He takes a snap, fires one deep. And if you look, there is some separation, but not like a tremendous amount of separation or anything. There's some, but nothing crazy. However, Burrow just makes this throw exactly the place where you would want it to be. Can't ask for anything better than that. Just a perfectly thrown ball right there. And, I mean, there's plenty of NFL guys who can't make those types of throws. Plenty. I mean, I don't just mean that there's, a couple backups that can't make those throws. I mean, there's, like, good starters who can't make deep throws as consistently as Burrow can. And it does help that he has a good receiving core for sure, but he's also great at those types of passes. Also, without a doubt, one thing that really helped LSU was just their red zone efficiency. Like on this play, it's going to be once again it's going to be man coverage that Clemson is in, and so there's several things you can do if you're going up against man coverage. One thing you could do is run some pick plays. Have receivers run quick cuts, try to get open. Plenty of things you can do. Obviously, there's the goal line fade, which is, a favorite of every team, really, because it's so low risk and high reward, obviously. But for LSU, they have a different idea. They're going to run just a quarterback draw right here, which I love. I think teams should really do this more often, both in college and in the NFL, is get to the goal line, go out 5 wide, and run a quarterback draw. I think it can be really effective. Because even with a blitz, the chances are there's going to be some sort of hole that gets open. Like, that's what happens right here. As you see, there definitely is a gap that Burrow can run through. And now, at this point, it's man coverage. So 5 of the Clemson defenders have basically taken themselves out of the play because they have to cover a receiver who, all the receivers are sent towards the sideline, meaning the middle of the field is going to be open. Which basically leaves that safety as the only guy who has a chance to make a play on Burrow. And Burrow is easily able to get the touchdown. And that's why I think that play call just works out so well. And, that play actually brought LSU within 3 because they did get down by 10 at one point, but they definitely never panicked. They had a little bit of a slow start, and they also had a bit of a slow start in the second half. But after that slow start in both halves, they were really able to get into their own and play some really good football. So they eventually took a lead, but Clemson was fighting back. However, it seemed like it was just a theme this season with LSU is they would get up, and then a team would try to find a way to come back against them, but they just couldn't come back against them, not because of LSU's defense necessarily, but because of LSU's offense. The way that they would just, every time it seemed like an opposing team, it made it a one-score game late, or even in the second half, LSU would always bounce back with a touchdown, and that happened on this play. What's going to happen is that it's actually going to be a pick play, and you could actually make the argument that this is going to be pass interference. What's going to happen is that they're going to send that player out to just get in the way of a Clemson defender, and then there's somebody going to send Moss out towards the flat right there, and he's going to try to outrun whoever else gets in the area. But if you notice the defender who ends up getting picked, he kind of just allows the pick to happen, which you don't want to do. First things first, you should probably just switch there. You should probably just make sure you cover up Moss and try and see if you can make a tackle. It's easier said than done, but something that he probably should have tried to do. However, you have to move to some degree, basically just to prove that it's a pick and not just a route. Because, I mean, you are allowed to sort of run into a defender like that because you can kind of claim that it's just a route that you're running. But all that defender would really have to do is get some outside leverage, just a little bit. And then if he started to push off, then it would be clear that it's, actually a pick play, and they'd have to throw the flag, meaning you couldn't really create that much contact, and you would have a chance to get DeMoss. But he did neither, which allows that throw to be complete. And I mean, there's a very real chance that doesn't end up a touchdown if he just, gets a little bit further to the outside. But again, give credit to LSU. They put their players in positions to succeed and were able to execute their plays very well. In the red zone, they were always seemingly effective. When they had to score, they always seemed to score, and that wasn't just this game, but all season, honestly. So that's just what they were able to do. I also really like this play where it's going to be a cover one hole that Clemson is in, and then really it looks like the first route that Burrow wants to hit is actually going to be that route right there. It's going to get kind of in between those two coverages right in the middle of the field. There could be a gap there, so that's where Burrow is going to look right when this ball is snapped. However, first things first, if you look, he is looking in that direction, but he just doesn't like what he sees. Nothing is open. And also, there's now pressure here. So now he has to get around the pressure and, then also try and see if he can find somebody who's going to be open. So he runs around, is looking downfield now. He does a good job of staying behind the line of scrimmage. And if you look at what's that circle right there, that's pretty much the only eligible receiver who's in the area. And there clearly is a Clemson player right on him. But of course, the dilemma right here is that Burrow can run and try to pick up some yards that way. So it's the classic dilemma of, do you stay back and make sure you're covering up the receiver, or do you rush forward and try to make sure that you make a tackle on Burrow? And the second he rushes forward, Burrow just simply flips it out, and they're able to gain a ton of yards that way. Just great patience by Burrow, great awareness of understanding the situation, knowing where you're at, and then being able to make a play. A play like that is without a doubt a very difficult play to pull off, but he made it look easy, really. I mean, he was running around in the pocket, being able to make that flip and put it in a perfect area where his receiver is then able to gain a solid amount of yards after the catch. It's really difficult to do, and you see a lot of guys screwing that up. Honestly, you see a lot of guys throwing the ball away and not even getting around the pressure right there, which is just one of the many things that makes Burrow so great, and one of the many reasons he is going to go first overall. And one last thing I want to talk about, this to me was the dagger. This put them up 3 scores and really kind of said, like, you're not coming back from this game. What happened was, it was, again, a cover one blitz, and again, he has a receiver running deep, and he's going to take these chances. Pretty much all game, when he had a one-on-one matchup deep, he took that chance. This play is no exception. He takes a snap, instantly knows what he's going to do, throws the ball deep, and if you look, it's not like there's a ton of separation necessarily. I mean, this is actually a good example of sometimes it's better to trust your receivers than to try to do everything yourself. I mean, some people wouldn't make this throw because they'd say, I don't really know if he's going to be open. I don't want to take a risk. But Burrow says, you know what, we got to take some chances. Even though we're up 10, we want to be up 17 right here. We want to be up 3 scores and really put the dagger in the hearts of the Clemson team. And it also helps when you have talented receivers. His receiver goes up, makes the catch, and just like that, LSU was able to go up 17, and that was really the dagger. They held on and were able to, be national champions. Listen, that's not easy to do, so give them a lot of credit. And not just the fact that they were able to do it, but seemingly they just, every time they were even slightly tested, they delivered. I mean, it was just so impressive watching them all season. Every time it seemed like there was something that maybe could go wrong. I mean, I think back to the Texas game when, it was definitely a dangerous situation. It looked like Texas was going to get the ball back, but then LSU was able to score a touchdown, really, put the dagger in their hearts then. And, they did kind of a similar thing against Alabama. Every time Alabama got close, LSU's offense just marched down the field and scored a touchdown. So they could never, once you got down by 1 score and LSU had the ball, they always pushed it up to 2 scores. And then every time you forced it to be back to 1 score, they again made it multiple scores again. It's just so difficult to come back against a team like that. And it's also so difficult to not get behind against a team like this. Without a doubt, one of the better teams that we've seen in quite some time. That's kind of why I made a couple videos about Joe Burrow, even though I tend to focus on the NFL, because, I mean, he's been so impressive. I mean, it's a great story, a lot of fun to watch, and I don't only do NFL videos. I've made college videos before, but yeah. Burrow's amazing. There will be plenty more Burrow content coming this offseason, leading up to the draft. But as of right now, give him and the rest of LSU a lot of credit. They were a great team, and they're national champions, so congratulations. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.